Houston's own Kam Franklin, lead singer of the Suffers, is striking out solo, and her fans are all in. She recently crowdfunded her debut solo album, hitting her $20,000 goal in just 11 days, with most backers coming from right here in Texas. The new record, set to drop next April, will feature collaborations with local artists and mark a bold new chapter in one of Houston's most beloved vocal voices. Kam, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's great. I've talked with you on other shows. You've been on other programs. This is your first time on Hello Houston, isn't it?
This is my first time on Hello Houston.
If folks want to chat with one of our favorite singers, you can call us right now at 713-440-8870. Okay, first thing, before we get into anything else, and it's going to strike fear with people, the Suffers still continue even though you're going to do a solo album, or have you
Absolutely.
left? Okay, that's what I was worried about.
Oh my gosh, no. I mean, honestly, I hope that there's a way for the Suffers to exist forever.
Yeah.
You know, whether that's just through us existing in this lifetime versus the music just getting to continue on its own when we're all long gone.
Yeah.
And this year makes 14 years of the Suffers doing independent music. Next year makes 10 years since our debut album, which was also funded via Kickstarter. And I mean, honestly, we just played in Erie, Pennsylvania last weekend and headlined a jazz festival out there. And the entire time we're just talking about how grateful we are to be at a stage where we get to headline anything in a climate where there's so much darkness going on. It was just so wonderful to be in a place where the high was 74 degrees that day and to play original music and to play it with some of my best friends.
So, Kam, what sparked the inspiration, the interest for you to decide to make this solo album?
Well, the economy was definitely a driving factor. But more than anything, it was just my own personal desire to get out songs that just didn't make sense for my band. The Suffers is a big band, and we do really fun, upbeat, soulful music. Every now and then we get a little deep, but for the most part, we try to keep it easy and relatable. And for my solo project, I wanted to go into much deeper topics. I wanted to ask much tougher questions that are considered intense. And usually you only hear in blues music, folk music, and Americana, three of my favorite genres. And so I had the opportunity to open for Grammy nominee Margot Price a couple years ago. And Margot is actually the co-producer of this album. And while it features so many local voices, I would be remiss to not talk about all of the Nashville and Arkansas voices that made their way onto my record. And she's one of them, her husband, Jeremy Ivey, Kevin Morby, and so many other singer-songwriters that I'm just grateful that I get to be in the room with.
I'm wondering, are you saying that it might have a bit of a country sound to it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, you know, some of my biggest influences are Texas country artists. Most people that know me for real know that while The Suffers is my most successful project, I got my start in Americana, in country, in blues, in a band called Nick Gaitan and the Umbrella Man, in tiny bars out in Baytown, working in karaoke bars that don't exist anymore. Shout out to Shady O'Grady's, the bar that I worked at forever, where I was a horrible bartender, but I made most of my money because the clients would be like, well, can you sing that one Patty Loveless song again? Yeah. And I'd make more money doing that than I would serving really bad 7 and 7s.
So then tell me this, for a lot of artists that listen to this, and the dream seems so hard to hold on to, and it works. The system seems to almost work against you. What kept it alive for you through the peaks and the valleys to continue to follow your passion?
My friends, my family, and fans reminding me that they still listen to my music. Yeah. People checking in, being like, where's the rest of it? When are we getting more? But also just that love for music itself. It is impossible. It is very hard. But at the end of the day, I think that there is something that comes from doing something with your own hands, with your own perseverance, and with your community behind your back. And I would not be here without the Houston community. I would not be here without all of these people that continue to take chances on me and my art. And I'm really just grateful for the opportunity to keep growing into that and leaning into that. And, listening to this record, you're going to hear my band members in the Suffers. You're going to hear a lot of artists that you've never heard of. And I'm grateful just for it being done.
So you're like Stevie Nicks doing a solo while still in Fleetwood Mac.
Sure, why not? Sure, I'll take that.
So Cam, you mentioned community, and it seems like the community really got behind you financially. Talk to us about that process, and I mean that's pretty amazing.
Yes, it was. I told one of my friends it felt like a month-long panic attack because yes, while it's very fun and exciting to be on this side of a crowdfunding campaign like what I just did, it was 45 days of will I actually make this happen?
Right, because you don't get the money unless you hit the goal, right?
If you go through Kickstarter, you do not get the money unless you get the goal.
So this album was also through Kickstarter?
So the album itself was actually 7 years of my own money. 7 years of me sacrificing probably a much nicer looking lifestyle because I already had the Suffers. So trying to convince people that the Suffers should exist was its own trials and tribulations, a story that we've gotten to share, thankfully, over the years because of the station many times. That was already one thing. When I told people that I wanted to work on a solo record, I then started getting a lot of pushback. Why would you do that? It's so hard. You already have this going on. And I'm like, in a reality check world that I live in, most people listen to music on Spotify. The CEO of Spotify is not pro-artist. I don't care what anyone likes to say about it. Daniel Ek is not pro-artist and has openly said that if artists would like to survive in this economy, they need to realistically prepare themselves to release 2 to 3 times per year. 2 to 3 albums per year. Most of the people I know that Fleetwood Mac, Foo Fighters, these bigger artists, they take years and a lot of money, a lot of other people's money usually to make records happen. And so what worked most for the Suffers was trusting and believing in what we were doing on the art side and believing that we could make it work. And if the only thing you're telling me is that the workload is hard, but not that it actually is impossible, I have to keep going and see what actually happens. And so I came from corporate America. I came from, if it doesn't get done today, you're not going to be able to eat. And so that's how I apply myself when it comes to making a record is this is my personal deadline. No one expects anything from me, but I know that if I don't finish X, Y, and Z, I'm probably not going to make my rent. I'm probably not going to pay my bills. And now that I've gotten to a place where I have a groove and I understand how that works, I knew right away how to apply it to my solo work and what it would take to make this happen. But realistically, I knew I couldn't launch this 5-6 years ago. Most of my album was written during COVID because I had the time and space to create it then. And then once we were able to start going back out again and I was able to start doing more appearances, doing more work on my own, it was, oh, this is what I'm saving? Okay. It was, oh, I can apply for this little grant. Well, if I'm able to pay myself from this, that money's going to go towards this record. And every dollar that I made over about 7.5 years, studio time. Well, all right. And so now we're here and I got it done last year, but then it became, to have a successful album, you have to have some type of physical product to sell,
Right.
unless you want to depend on 700 millionaires like Daniel Ek, That's what he had to put towards war profiteering, not how much he's actually worth. He's a multi-billionaire. But I'm just saying this not to knock him, but so that my fellow musicians understand how hard it actually is.
Right. Yeah.
And there's no shame in maintaining a job. There's no shame in asking for help, because at the end of the day, that's all I did was ask for help. And I asked for help publicly and widely. And for 45 days, every day, I let people know how much I needed and what I needed that money for.
Yeah.
And I got it done, but there's no guarantee in this. And had I not had the career that I had, I'm not sure that it would have been as successful.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't say that to discourage anyone. I hope anyone that's trying to pursue this just goes for it.
I want to remind everyone we're speaking with singer Kam Franklin. You may know her from the Suffers or soon to be from her solo album. If you'd like to join the conversation, you can call or text us at 713-440-8870. To jump on the end of what you were just saying there, I think what people miss is the economics of making music today, that from the recordings, from the album, you don't really make your money. It's from the touring and the merchandising,
Absolutely.
which is where you get the money.
Absolutely.
Records have become just the promotion for what comes out. If you just relied on your songs being played on Spotify, you would be needing that other job.
Absolutely. And the reason I needed this help was so that I could create physical albums to sell at shows, because if I'm going off of streaming, that's less than a penny per stream.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, what's crazier is that if you invest in yourself and you're able to raise the $7,000 to $10,000 that it might cost you to produce 1,000 units of your music, and you know that there's at least 1,000 people out there that want that record, you can sell each unit for what it's worth, which is about $40 per unit. The average touring artist sells their physical vinyl record, which now is outselling CDs again.
Welcome back, vinyl.
Thank God. Thank God. Welcome back, vinyl. And true audio heads and files really are grateful for this to be happening too. And Forbes magazine just put out that, yet again, vinyl is outperforming CDs. So as a solo independent artist, that tells me that that's where the money needs to be going. Because if you're investing $10,000 and you can turn a profit of $40,000, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going for.
I do want to know, and I know I'm about to get a little tabloidy with
course.
you. You guys, the Sufferers, got to go around and do the late night national talk shows.
Yes.
Tell me some stories of what those were like and how it gelled with what you expected it to be like and what you actually encountered.
Everyone had an opinion about Letterman. And we played the last few weeks of his show being on air. I believe that we are the last independent band that he had on air. Paul Schaefer, the first thing he said to my mother, who was there as soon as we got off the stage, was, "It's a shame we're ending. You guys would be great to have back." With Kimmel, we were there the day that they were recording their annual Academy Award special. Anybody that watches Jimmy Kimmel Live knows that he always has an ongoing Troll Academy Award show special that usually involves some kind of craziness with Matt Damon. Yeah. And I didn't see Matt Damon, but Matt Damon was there taping his parts. And Melissa, who previously worked on my team, was like, "Oh my gosh, I just saw Matt Damon. Matt Damon's dressed up like a spaceman." Just no context. And, I'm dealing with the anxiety of getting ready to go on stage. And all of us were getting ready We're dealing with that collective anxiety, and it is something that can't be described.
Is there more anxiety going on knowing you're doing national television in that moment, or is it pretty much the same as it is every time you're going out before a big audience?
It's different every time. The first time was the most anxious. Letterman was definitely the strangest, weirdest, all eyes on you moment. Yeah, because I would definitely say that when he was on the air, it was still very much so an era where a lot of people were still discovering music in that way through watching television. Now our phones are our gateway to so much, right? And I would say that while Tiny Desk is not late night, it is up there with the impact. Like, there are people that will still come up to us and react the same way that we played on Tiny Desk, the way that, "Oh my gosh, you did Daily Show," or "Oh my gosh, you did Letterman." It's up there to them. And I tell folks that you got to have grace with every artist you see on NPR Tiny Desk, because most of them can't hear themselves. There's no monitors.
It's the NPR show where they do it in an office. Just so people who don't know.
Yes, and when you watch the Suffers NPR Tiny Desk, I am on top of the desk because I could not hear myself, and I was trying to sing over horns in tune, because I know that a lot of our fans are vocal purists.
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't they be? Look who the lead singer is.
Yes, and I was not trying to be the artist out of tune on.
You're listening to Hello Houston. We are speaking with singer Kam Franklin. You can join the conversation with a call or text at 713-440-8870. And we do have a call from Paul from Friendswood. Welcome to Hello Houston, Paul. What is your question or comment for Kam?
Well, hello, guys. Thank you for having me. So I have a couple of questions. I have one statement. Is it not true, and I'm just asking this because I don't know if I'm right or wrong, that records used to be used as a promotional item in, like, say, the 1930s, 40s, and then bandstands were where you would make music. You would make the money at a bandstand, right? All these people would be crammed in a bus and traveling from bandstand to bandstand. And that's how they would make their money. They would give away the records for free. That changed. Then the LimeWire wars happened. Everything happened with Napster. Then, of course, iPhone, Apple. And now we're here at Spotify where they're creating fake artists. I totally understand everything that she's going through. My question is, what about artists like McDonald, who's on YouTube, a rapper, and Tom McDonald, I believe is his name. And he's a multimillionaire, and he's just a rapper on YouTube. I mean, granted, he's doing shows, he's performing. But how do we tell artists who are new, because I've been an artist, I've been signed to labels, I've gotten to travel around the world, it's been a great day. But how do we tell new artists how to do the same thing, to take their whole thing into their own value system and their own website so that they can own all the rights, they can own everything, and not need to use these systems?
Paul, thank you for that. Let's find out Kam's thoughts on it.
Well, Paul, I have to say, first of all, I appreciate just the overal musicology.
I know the history lesson we got.
We just went through such a deep musicology history lesson to get to your question. Let me skip a few steps. Yes, you are correct. Once upon a time, that is how vinyl records were used. They were used as promotional tools, because they were so hard and expensive to make that it didn't make sense to mass produce at the time when most people were listening to the radio. And so it made sense to get through the early vinyl productions into the hands of those DJs, the program directors, so that it could be heard in mass. I also love how you skipped 50 years of music technology to get to Napster, which I won't go into depths of because I feel like there's an incredible music documentary called How Music Got Free, directed by Alex, I want to say her last name is Tanakis, but How Music Got Free. She is from here in Houston.
Oh, that's cool.
And it goes through the history of Napster, how it actually is a lot deeper than the creators of Napster and goes all the way to a CD plant in North Carolina where the workers were allegedly underpaid and were stealing the music before it ever got onto the stores and getting those music files to these young preteens that were then uploading the music to file sharing sites like Napster, LimeWire, and more. Anyway, the documentary is called Music Got Free. There's a book of the same name that goes into the how, why, what, and how it is still impacting the music industry today, how those choices made at that time eventually led to the closure of so many great music stores like Borders and bookstores that shared space with them. But I think the more important part of your question, Paul, gets into how new artists are supposed to exist, survive, find their own sustainability in a climate that just feels like it's constantly against them. And I'll say it the way that it was explained to me when I first wanted to get into music back in 2004. And that's get a library card, get access to the internet. If you don't have it, go to that library and watch artists like the artist you mentioned, McDonald, on YouTube, because there is not one way to do this successfully. I'm sure that in addition to his popularity and the art that he creates as an artist, he's also been very smart about the team that he's probably built around himself, the brand deals that he's been able to get, the affiliate link opportunities, as well as everything that comes with finding your success through those streaming sites, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, and everything. When you start going into that, nothing enrages me more right now than the idea of these successful fake AI bands on these streaming sites. So I'm not going to do that because we're having a nice time right now.
Unfortunately, you speak of time, and our time is running out. So you talk about all this, but I would say save your money. And when the vinyl of your very first solo CD or album comes out, people should go out and get that as we celebrate one of our homegrown local artists who we are so thrilled with your upcoming success and all the success you've had to this point. Please come back anytime and chat with us.
Thank you. Love to.
Love you, Kam.
Thank you. Love y'all. Thanks for having me.
Franklin.